My team and I have created and sent 6,170 e-commerce emails individually. And in this video, I'm going to reveal the core findings so that you can apply them to your D2C brand. We are going to go over 4 of my core findings from sending 6,170 e-commerce emails right here in this video for you. And starting with number 1, this might be the biggest shocker to pretty much every D2C brand owner that I talk to. It goes a little bit against the grain, especially in the e-commerce world. If you do email marketing outside of e-commerce, like you're an info product or a coach or like a service business or a SaaS or anything like that, this is more common to you. But for e-commerce brands specifically, this one actually shocks a ton of them, so let's get into it. Plain text emails usually perform better than design emails. Let me explain. So there's a little bit of a catch here because you can't send out only plain text emails most of the time. Some brands, don't get me wrong, can completely get away with doing that, sending nothing but plain text content. But for the majority of the e-commerce brands that are watching this video right now, you probably want to mix in a fair amount of plain text emails and design emails. But the problem that I see a lot of brands run into is that they only send out exclusively design content. And look, obviously those work and they do their job, but surprisingly, plain text emails will usually be the times where we'll see the most revenue come in. The reasons for this is because plain text emails are going to deliver better in the inbox because they have a better promotional percentage, which is kind of like this metric that you can't see that the spam filters on Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, whatever the inbox is, they are judging how promotional your email looks. The less promotional your email looks, the better chances it lands in the primary tab. And when you land in the primary tab, you get more people to open it. And plain text emails do not look very promotional because they're text. They're not just a bunch of images, GIFs, and stuff like that. The other reason is because plain text emails, again, for most brands, are a bit of a pattern interrupt. When everyone is used to seeing design content on repeat from your brand, a plain text email kind of like interrupts that pattern that they get stuck into whenever they see your content. And it also looks extremely personal. So this is the other big benefit of using plain text content is that you can literally send it from the founder and say, hey, you know, like this is a last chance on this sale, or like this product's about to be out of stock, grab it now, or you know, whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be a sale or a promo or something like that. It could even be just something as simple as, hey, I thought this article would be helpful. And then that article happens to be like a whole advertorial funnel that sells your products. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's exactly why plain text content is so powerful. And the brands that aren't utilizing it at all are seriously missing out. All right, so moving on to number 2, this is the main thing that prevents your email list from growing on a regular basis, because you obviously want your email list to be constantly beefed up with new subscribers on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, really. And if that doesn't happen, you stop getting those new leads in the door, you're just going to fizzle out the ones that are there because you're just going to be hammering them so hard. Don't get me wrong, you'll get a lot that stick around if your email marketing is good, but getting a new lead flow constantly back into the email marketing ecosystem is extremely important to keep it running at a very high level. But the second point here is that your opt-in form has to be easily digestible. What I mean by this is that a lot of the forms will have a lot of friction, like a lot of fields that people have to fill out, you know, like an image here and a bunch of text here, or just a bunch of text to begin with. That is not what we want. We want a good offer. We want to make it easy for people to see what that offer is and decide if they want it. Now, you can easily get a good opt-in percentage or a conversion rate with just a simple 10 to 15% off discount. But in many cases, you might not want to run that because it hurts your margins a little bit too much if that's the case, especially with tariffs rolling around right now. We really want to protect those margins. So you can even test offers like, you know, we're discounting the next 5 orders that are on our email list or something like that, or like a giveaway option where they opt in to be entered into a giveaway. And there are a bunch of other ideas that you can go with here. But the core part of this point is that whatever the offer is, it should be easy to see, digest, and grab. What I mean by that is that your first step should really just be like a headline and a form, and that's pretty much it. They should enter their email and they should move on to the SMS step. As soon as they see that, again, super simple. Obviously, you have to have that disclaimer text for the opt-in legality stuff on the SMS step, but that's pretty much the only complex part that should be on your form. Now, on top of that, something that's absolutely crushing it right now is a full page pop-up that's a lot more engaging, or even pop-ups that have like a button that someone has to click before they move on to the email step. So again, the core point here, make sure your opt-in form is simple and easy to digest. It's going to grow your list way faster than these super complex forms. All right, moving on. Now let's talk about the easiest way to get automated revenue coming in through the door on a regular basis. And surprisingly, this is actually a lot simpler than you might think. It's literally just getting all of your core flows or automations built out as soon as humanly possible. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to list out the core flows or automations that every e-commerce brand should be running. If you're not an e-commerce brand and you're watching this, some of these will still apply, but probably not all of them. But for e-commerce brands, you want to make sure you have implemented a welcome series and then 4 different abandonment flows. So that's going to be a site abandonment, browse abandonment, abandoned cart, and abandoned checkout. 4 post-purchase email flows. So that's a first-time buyer series, a repeat buyer series, a VIP flow, and a customer win-back flow. And then lastly, you want to tack on a re-engagement flow. That one's just to get rid of all the inactive people on your list. And then as for SMS, there are 4 that we want to make sure we have set up here as well. That's going to be an SMS welcome series, an SMS browse abandoned, SMS abandoned cart, and an SMS abandoned checkout. Now, obviously, there are a lot of different custom flows that make sense depending on the brand, but these are the core 14 flows that we build out for every client, regardless of who they are or what they do. As long as they're an e-commerce or D2C brand, it almost always makes sense to have those 14 running. If you don't have all of them running, make sure they're running. You're leaving money on the table. Okay, moving on to number 4. This one is an absolute game changer in email marketing right now, and shockingly, no agencies are paying any attention to it. But the email that you send to someone is just step 1. Do not forget about the page that those people are getting sent to after they click on your email. Now, what do I mean by this? Email marketing agencies have always done just that. They send emails and they send text messages. But when you do that, you're only focusing on the first half of the equation, which is getting the person to the page. But once the person is on that page, we need them to buy, because we do not care about vanity metrics like open rates and click rates. We care about sales numbers. So what we do is we optimize an entire email funnel. We build these email funnels so that there's congruency from the email or the SMS over to the landing page or the actual funnel that they're getting sent to. One example of this might be an advertorial funnel. So remember when I was talking about plain text emails? You might create a short plain text email that's very curiosity based to get people on the advertorial page. Then the advertorial page is essentially an editorial disguised as an ad that educates the customer and pre-sells them before they click forward to the product sales page. On that product sales page, that is where they actually get sold on the product and they go ahead and buy. That's a way better process than just a random email that send them to a non-congruent landing page that wasn't optimized at all for actual conversions. And a much more simpler example of this would just be a basic email, just like you're already sending, that goes to a landing page that speaks to the person based on where they are in their buying journey. For example, you might have an email that you send out to, 90-day engaged or 30-day engaged, all the people on your email list. We'll split those people out into the non-buyers in that segment, the one-time buyers in that segment, and the repeat buyers in that segment. And then whatever product or collection or whatever it is that we're promoting in that email, we'll have a landing page built out for it. But we'll slightly change the messaging and the copy and the visuals in that landing page so that it matches the segment of the list that's getting sent to it. Let me give you a quick visual of this. So this is your email. You send this email with different messaging or different tweaked copy based on who it's being sent to. So it's the non-buyers, the one-time buyers, and the 2-time plus buyers. And then you have a landing page that's different based on which segment it's optimized for, and then each of those segments gets sent to their respective landing page. I'm sure you'd agree that that's a much more robust and optimized system than just one email being sent to some basic product page where it's not optimized for who's actually seeing it whatsoever. Because someone who's never bought from you before needs to be spoken to a lot differently than someone that's bought from you multiple times. And that's exactly what we're aiming for here. Now, I know that may be a little bit confusing, or maybe you totally understand it and you just want to see some examples. So what I did is the top link in the description, you can fill out a free little quiz. It's super quick. It'll probably take you less than 60 seconds, where you'll simply just fill out a few questions about your business or your e-commerce brand. And then my team and I will custom create 3 different email funnel concepts or ideas for you so that you can see exactly how these work. We'll give the idea, the implementation steps, and all the stuff that goes into building an email funnel like this. And then obviously, if you want help doing it, we're happy to help you out with it. But again, top link in the description, you can take that free quiz. Again, it's completely free. It'll take you about a minute of your time. I think it'll be super valuable for you and your brand. But anyways, these were just 4 of the things that I wanted you to know about from us after sending 6,170 e-commerce emails individually. I'd be here all day if I told you literally all of our takeaways, but I know that I'm busy, you're busy, we all have stuff to do, so we'll save those for other videos. We talked about working plain text emails into your campaign strategy, making your opt-in form easily digestible, getting all of your core flows or automations built out ASAP, and optimizing your landing pages for conversions. Now, like I mentioned before, if you have zero clue where to start when it comes to building out email funnels, what the concept should be, what the implementation steps should be, any of that, check the top link in the description. There's a free 60-second quiz that you can take where my team will custom deliver you 3 different email funnel concept ideas, and those will be directly applied to your brand that you can go ahead and build out so that you can send emails that are congruent with your landing pages so that you make way more money rather than just getting opens and clicks. Other than that, hope you enjoyed. You can click the other video on the screen for more educational content like this. I'll see you soon.